I'm gonna start with the patches. Can they be worn anywhere, or is there anywhere, like, not to place them?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that it would matter where you place them, to be honest with you. I mean, we found that the sleep patches work better here and here. But the pain patch I've had on my ankle, I've had it on my back, I've had it, or the freedom patch. The serenity patch I find I like the most is like right here, but ultimately they go anywhere and they work anywhere because it's helping it with the bioantennas. There isn't a specific area or location that I'm aware of that bioantennas live more than others. And so for me, I think it's your whole body is covered in them. And the bioantenna runs through the electrical field. So your electrical field touches everything. So I don't think it matters personally. What I do know is that you don't want to put a traveler patch and a serenity patch on at the same time.
So, those 2 you just mentioned that should not be used together, are there any other combinations? In general, they just shouldn't be used together, or is it just those 2
Yeah,
specifically?
it's just those two for sure. Because they do opposite things. Teaching your bioantennas to like focus more on rest versus teaching your bioantennas to focus more on energy. Putting both of them on kind of creates a confused signal. It doesn't hurt you. It's just not a good feeling.
Mhm,
And it's kind of a
makes
waste
sense.
of resources, in my opinion. It's always better to focus on one thing and then move to the next. But some of them work together. Like the harmony patch works really well with the freedom patch.
Okay, perfect. That was actually the next segue of the question is, are there good best combinations of patches to use together?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Serenity patch works with everything very well as an amplifier, other than the Traveler patch.
Mm,
Freedom patch, because it's support with the way that our body functions with like pain and signals from that perspective is really beneficial with the Harmony patch and other things. Because Harmony, for me, I find that it helps reduce aggression for women. It's been huge for them during their menstrual cycles. So I think it really just depends on the exploratory part of it, right? That's what I love about void space is like explore. But there is no danger, even if you were to put a traveler and a serenity patch on, put a traveler here, serenity here, you could see what happens. It's not going to hurt you long term or anything of that nature. It's just going to make you feel not good because you're putting weird signals together.
so the harmony patch, we say you mentioned it was really good for a woman's menstrual cycle, and then we also say it's for, like, stabilizing and feeling at home in the body. Um, so for men, like you said, it lowers your aggression. Do you have any idea of, like, why that may be happening or some other kind of, like, benefits or experiences a man can feel when they take the harmony patch?
So I think that that's really good for people that have anger problems or any type of aggression or like if they have like a short fuse. And I think the reason is because those bioantennas are tuned for matter. So what that means is the things that matter to you, they help you to kind of get more of a different perspective around.
Okay, and then where is the kind of difference in, like, how does it do that for men and then help women on the menstrual cycle and, like, the womb circuit specifically?
Well, the womb circuits are matter circuits. So it's just a perfect support for that. If you think about it from like a bioantenna perspective, the amount of energy that is running through a woman on her menstrual cycle is much higher than when she's not. And part of that is the matter circuits are fully active. So to be able to support that in that process, it's like paramount. Traditionally, a woman would be in nature for that. Like if you go back in the ancient days, they would be in nature. So they would have the bioantennas to help with that electricity. They would have nature to support with all of that extra current running through them. Or they would be in the ocean, which is still nature, in my opinion. And the ocean has all the bioantennas available too. It's insane. I love the ocean.
So is there any, like, max length that we can wear these?
So here's what I've personally found. This is easier for me to say it this way because I don't think that there is a max length, but every 8 hours roughly for me, my body has learned from the patch what it needed to learn, and then it wants another one to upgrade from there. Because your bioelectrical field, where it was when it sends the signal, is exactly the support it's going to get. But if you level up over 8 hours to another level, putting a new patch on will give you support at that new level. versus at the old level. It's not that, and this is different with these patches versus magnetic technology. The patch actually doesn't pull you down, right? I don't know how many of you guys out there are familiar with magnetic patches, but if you put one on of those and you out level it, it will actually start to pull you back down so that it can level you up and then pull you back down and then level you back up. And this is actually very proven science. Magnetic technology is great if you're lower than the range, but once you're at the range, you need to stop using it so that you can get to the next stage. Bioantenna technology, you don't have to do that.
So every time you put a new one on, the feedback is helping you.
Because it's
Basically, like you're
working.
just leveling up the bioantenna each time because the feedback signals are just going over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And just so I understand, when you say putting on a new one, do you mean removing the old one and putting a new one on?
100%
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Every patch you put on your body is going to change the way that the bioelectrical fields of your body is interacting with your body. So if you have a patch here and a patch here, 8 hours later, it's working with both. This is not as efficient as removing the patch, putting a new patch on.
Okay, so that I understand. I understand that from the body philosophy, especially the part you remove it, not because it wears off necessarily, but because you learn from it. What about like on the technology part then? Like you put a Serenity patch on the phone. Like what is that? Like how
Every
is it
6 to
learning
8
from that?
months.
6 to 8 months?
I recommend at least 8 months, but 6 months definitely is your sweet spot in my opinion. And you want to put as many as it takes to zero out the device. The new iPhones are like 5. It's ridiculous. There's so many EMFs on the new iPhones. My older iPhone only have 2 on, but it's something where like if you hold the device and you feel it's still hot, then it's running EMFs. So you put another patch on, feel it again, it'll start cool down. And when the phone is actually cold, it feels cold in your hands, then you know that you've cooled down the phone. So it's actually stable and it's not going to get you hot.
You can do that same thing with every piece of tech then,
Yes,
basically.
and I have.
So it zeroes out the EMFs from the device.
It doesn't. It transmutes them. It's a
It
huge
transmutes
difference.
them.
You can't create or destroy energy. You can just change the way that it functions.
Okay, so then it transmutes them, which makes them powerful.
Biophotons.
Biophotons becomes light. If you
So,
put it on your
yeah.
if you put it on yourself, then is it doing the same thing? It's basically helping your body then transmute EMFs also.
Yes, and will also help with the radiation in the body too, which is pretty cool too.
So generally for technology, regardless of what it is, it's gonna be 6 to 8 months. You can keep it on, and you need to put as many as you can until you kind of feel it. And some sort of baseline is like 5 for an iPhone. So you're thinking
I
a
mean, the new
microwave's
one,
probably.
yeah, 5 at least, I would say. Some, maybe more. I don't know the newer ones, but yeah.